So this is what we spoke about, and this is our contribution. Some of the key themes that came up, in no particular order, was stuff around emotional intelligence of black men. Black men growing up and not being able to control or regulate their emotional well-being. Also here you've got emotional age. So even though all of us here have got a physical age, what is our emotional age? What is the emotional age of men in the community? We also spoke about taking healing and us taking responsibility and us being responsible for our own healing and not relying on anyone else. We spoke about trusting the process. There's a process to becoming better than what you are now. So we try to create a distinction of what healing is, because it meant different things to different people. But I think we came to a kind of a consensus that it's a journey to betterment, a way of life and a process. Brian mentioned mental health first aid. So us as being aware of triggers, us being aware to identify mental health within people in the community.
But also about creating like a culture of people who have that awareness and ability to distinguish what is going on with black men who have mental issues.
Absolutely. We spoke about healing or dissolving generational circles or cycles. We spoke about rites of passage quite a bit. We spoke about different tools or different types of rites of passage, what that looks like. We spoke about rites of passage being a national model as well as a regional model, and it having funding to get to the places that it needs to go to. We spoke about having different systems of intervention, so not just relying on one source, but relying on having a collage or an arsenal of interventions to assist us on that journey. We spoke about being present to the inner child and its state, so we know how to amend it when it pops up. Being aware of triggers, so that means it's being present every single day, kind of linked to it being a lifestyle. We spoke about what's effective. We spoke about being your brother's keeper and having courage. So if you have friends or colleagues or family people in your sphere that need intervention, being your brother's keeper. And we spoke a little bit about how far do we agitate them? Do we take them all the way? Do we respect their space? So we kind of had a little conversation around that.
The courage thing, it's also about having the heart to have the conversations that are very difficult to have.
Absolutely.
Around challenging issues with people and the ability to communicate in a way that they can actually receive what we are communicating to them.
Absolutely. Thank you for your input. I'm not sure what everyone else is, but I appreciate you. Also, we spoke about having trust as well. Trusting your brothers, trusting your brothers in the process. We spoke about being prepared to leave your comfort zone to do the inner work. We spoke about parenting. Adrian, do you want to touch on? Where's Adrian going? Oh yeah, do you want to finish your biscuit first, or should I? Yeah. You was talking about parenting. No, it was yourself.
Yeah. So.
Do you want to touch on parenting, please? I did point at
I thought you said you didn't know what everyone else is.
Go on then.
No, I don't want to see. Yeah, so what it is, Brother D mentioned preventative measures, so instead of waiting for there to be a problem, actually provide the solution much earlier on. So that's like ACE, what is ACES represent again?
Adverse childhood experiences.
Adverse childhood experiences. So actually preparing parents for the skills not to damage their children, not to actually destroy the child's inner child, before they even become an adult. So that's very important, that will lead us to this. And another thing we spoke about is the buzzword of rites of passage. That's a big buzzword now, like trauma, like all these other words, this, that. And then what it does, it breeds disconnection, it breeds, people not being accountable, and you can just use the word and it means I'm on the process. But we were looking at what is the process, what are the things that we've all done that's made a difference to our life, how can we take that and integrate it into a culture and roll that out.
Absolutely.
That's not what I said about parenting.
It's what Desmond said about parenting.
Okay, what I said about parenting is that we are all parents. So just because you're not a biological parent, we all can be either uncles, aunts, and so forth. Just the village.
Yeah. We spoke about Yeah, and that was pretty much the key themes. We spoke about whatever interventions is put in place, it needs to be culturally competent, that addresses our needs as black men and the black child. And and that was it. There was a great importance of when we spoke of a lot of passion, and we did stress the importance of this piece of work and us being very careful of not creating things in that state of being so-called broken, if you want to use that term, or I'll use that term anyway. And that was...
Can I just add one thing? In terms of parenting, we always talk about the problems. We look at that as the child in the womb. And I think as men who are about to conceive or get involved in family, it's important that we choose the right partner, necessarily for the right partner we can connect with, even if we break up with that person. It's our responsibility to do that as well. We often leave that upon the women. It's actually our responsibility as well.
What did you say was our responsibility? To pick
It's
the
the
right
right
partner?
partner, yes, it's definitely our responsibility. We often leave that up to women. You ask a woman, she says, I decided to have a kid with a guy. Vice versa, if there's an abortion, I believe a man has a right to intervene in that abortion, take it to court. It's not just up to the woman to have an abortion, because it's his kid as well. It's equality.
We spoke about this situation here creating numerous blocks that preventing us from reaching our full potential as black men. So we did attribute this to being a contributing factor. We spoke about having more safe spaces, so spaces where men can feel challenged and be challenged, be taken places. Delway mentioned Albert mentioned it off the back of Delway's contribution, having accountability buddies. So me knowing that I can go somewhere if I've got challenges. Where do I go? Where does the black man go when he's got issues? Does he go to one person? If that person is not equipped, where else can he go? So having numerous circles that can facilitate that growth. And also it not being dependent on age. So each person having a mentorship, having a mentor, or an elder or a group of elders, but elder doesn't mean that you're older than me. It just means that you're wise and then you stand for that person. And I will stop there.
About way of life.
I mentioned that, yeah.
And the excitement and fun.
Oh, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So as a child learns through having experiences, fun experiences, and continuing learning. I think if we're looking to change the black man, it's going to be a journey which they want to partake in, which is exciting, which they are willing to learn and have fun, embrace themselves, but they have to be humble within themselves and have an element of self-reflection, because it will be a hard journey. It's not going to be smooth. But yeah, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yes. And I would like to end by saying it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Thank you.
Yeah.